Well, today we're going to show you a really awesome way to cook a burger, the way Jeff does it at Jackie O's. And so I'm going to swing it to you, man.
Yeah, at Jackie O's we use dry aged beef that comes from Athens' own. Constantine runs it. He will dry age a whole side of beef, and then when that gets butchered down into the individual cuts, all the scraps get grinded down into our hamburgers. So it comes from like the prime cuts of the beef, you know. So, and so especially with dry aged beef, it's a whole other level of flavor than you get with like fresh beef. But not saying fresh beef is bad, you know. It's just it's like apples and oranges. But
so tell us what like the big differences between dry aged beef and a regular.
Well, see, like with dry aged beef, you're evaporating moisture content out of the beef, so you're inherently enhancing the flavor because it's not being diluted by water.
Okay.
For the most part. And improves like the texture, makes it less chewy and more melt in your mouth.
Yeah, I've had your burgers before. They're amazing. So can you show us how to make a basic amazing burger for you?
Yeah. So usually with a good burger, you don't want to do too much to the meat. You want to keep it. You know, you don't want to work with it too much or add anything too much to it. And you want to keep them like a uniform size so they all cook about at the same rate. And what I like to do is use like a little mold, and I just kind of press it into the mold so it's about the right size. And you put a piece of plastic in like this lid, and it kind of gives you a uniform shape.
Nice.
And then the piece of plastic keeps it clean and makes it easy to take the burger out.
There's the secret.
Yeah.
That's what they do to make it easy. And I notice you're not like hammering that meat down into
You don't want to make it too dense, otherwise it won't be very juicy, you know. So you don't want to mess with it, or like some people like to add onions and Worcestershire and all that stuff too, but there's no need to. And like, you don't have to go too light on the salt either. You want a nice layer on there. It's like one thing that home cooks do that restaurant cooks don't do is they don't use enough salt because they're kind of scared of it. Just salt and black pepper goes like a long way, so you're not masking the flavor of the beef.
That's right.
So, you know, lets it talk for itself. So usually you want your pan nice and hot. Like some wisps of smoke coming off the pan's always nice. Just a little bit. You don't want to add too much just because the beef itself will render down, but you don't have any oil in there, you won't get a good like crust on there sometimes. Like while we're waiting for the pan to heat up, we can get some of our toppings ready. We got some tomato here. You usually want to get them fairly thin. If it's too big, when you take like one bite of the burger, that you pull the whole tomato off. So if you get nice thin slices, you get more layers, and then creates for a better experience. Those right there.
Beautiful slices. And I'm assuming you guys source your produce.
Yeah, so we get most of our produce comes from local farms, usually either Dexter run. Also, they do like tomatoes and spinach and some spring mix for us sometimes. Shade River does most of our produce needs. So we get something there that we can start to get with the smoke going here. So what you want to do is put it in there. The sears, that sizzles means your pan's hot. And then also with a good burger, you don't want to mess with it too much once it hits the heat. So you just kind of let it do its thing. And then usually once it starts to get a little bit of brown up along the edges of the burger is when you'll go to rotate it.
That smells really good, Chef.
Yes.
Okay, we got bacon and boar's head cheese. We're using pepper jack. That's a boar's head is available at Jefferson Marketplace. Amazing deli meats and cheeses and pickles. So come check us out.
And that Jackio is a cheese we normally use for most of our burgers. Comes from Laurel Valley. It's a country jack that they make themselves. It comes from their cows. And then the cool thing that we get from them sometimes is they make hot dogs from their cows that stop producing milk. Turn them into hot dogs, which is nice. It gives you. So as you can see, like the edges are starting to brown, some juice starting to render on the edges. So it's usually a good time to maybe like your first rotation, because when you go to a restaurant, you see like those marks on the steak. It's because they put the meat like a 45-degree angle, and then they rotate it again, and then it usually only gets flipped once. So it's usually, good. That's how they do it there. It's usually how you should probably do it at home. So you usually want to take this and rotate like that, and that way your sear marks on that side won't get too dark. You get even caramelization on the beef. Let that go. And then what you're looking for now to flip is you'll start to see little bits of juice start to kind of like sweat on top of the beef. That's usually like if you start to see that and you flip it, it's usually when you're going to work with a good medium hamburger. We're still going to be pink and juicy in the middle.
That's right.
So, but like, one thing, as I want to reiterate, like with your meat, you don't want to touch it too much.
That's right.
Just kind of let the heat do its thing and the meat do its thing. And so you can tell we're starting to get juice coming out around the edges here. So it's almost about time to flip. When you start seeing this move towards the middle, you know you're getting it's more evenly cooked throughout the burger. Yeah. About another 30 seconds we'll flip them. All right, as we see the juice starting to move closer into the middle, so it'll be a good time to flip now. There's a nice brown crust on there. Kind of let it do its thing.
Yeah.
You don't want to put your cheese on there too early either, because then it just melts all off and burns in the pan, and you don't have any cheese on your burger.
You guys do any beer pairings with these, or even because I know you guys are big beer companies.
We've thought about doing it before, but enough higher end restaurants kind of do it, and people just kind of come. They want to kind of experience us, you know? So we have found it's better just to offer our food instead of doing special food. We'll let other people do all that stuff. You know. And you're kind of looking for similar things when you flip it over. You want to start seeing the juice come up. Usually, you see like one little spot of red like that, means your burgers have a perfect mid-rare. You know. But usually most people don't like it there, because some burgers, like the fattier they are, if you don't cook them to medium, all the fat doesn't render and it gets kind of stringy in your teeth. You know. But if you get good medium heat, perfect.
And when you talk about fat content, the burgers that we're using is 20% fat, 80% lean. You don't want to go too lean, because that fat tends to be what binds the burgers together. So I've known people who try to do like 93.7, which is like 7% fat, and it just falls apart. You know?
And it's super dry too.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
So about the point where we can get our final rotate here. That go for a minute, and then about 30 seconds we'll add our cheese, and then we'll steam it. When you steam it, you'll actually help kind of cook the burger a bit more evenly, and the steam will give you a good melt on your cheese. It'll make it nice and gooey. Everyone likes nice gooey cheeseburgers.
That's right. You know? Let me get you a finishing plate, man.
Finishing plate would be great. And then once these come off the heat, what we'll do, we'll toast our buns and all this good hamburger fat. Nice and good.
Good.
Yeah. Loading these up. I like to tuck my corners in sometimes on the squared cheese, just so it stays on the burger a bit more.
Exactly, especially when you're cooking on a char grill and all that cheese gets lost. It's just a waste, especially if you got some really good boar's head cheese like we did today.
And it helps you control your costs.
That's right.
Do that, and then we'll get another pan.
Today we're using just a half sheet tray. If you're using a round pan, obviously you can just use your lid that comes with it. So
So we'll take this, and what you want to do is add a little bit of water in the middle there, and it'll steam. You just want to trap that steam in there.
Yeah.
It'll help the burger to finish cooking,
Yeah.
and for the cheese to get nice and melty. But you also don't want to this pan will get very hot. So you either want to have tongs or an oven mitt or a towel. Make sure you don't burn yourself.
Almost.
Yeah, a little bit longer, and it'll be perfect.
And obviously, if you're using a char grill, you just put your lid
Yeah,
down.
you just put the lid on, you're good to go. So I think we're good on those guys. And then what you want to do is, since we're going to toast our buns in here, we're going to take these off. You kind of want to let your meat rest as well before you eat it, so all the juices get redistributed throughout the meat, so you have a nice juicy piece of meat. And no one likes dry meat. Well, some people do. That's their own prerogative, yeah. So you want to take your buns here.
Nope. That white one's apparent.
Yeah, cool. And then spread a little bit of butter on them. You don't want to put too much just because you got some fat already in the pan. Put that down. Butter's a little cold, so it's not spreading very evenly. But you don't want to overcrowd the pan either, because then you won't get a good toast. You'll just steam the bread. No one likes soggy bread unless it's a hot dog.
That's right.
So, and bread usually cooks pretty quickly. You don't want to let it sit on there for too long. A little longer, and we'll do our third bun. Maybe.
Is there any reason why you guys mainly use sourdough bread for your buns and even all kinds of?
Yeah, well, it's more of a kind of a neutral bread. Too much, it doesn't have too much pronounced flavor, so it's not going to be covering up any flavors, and it's kind of allow the product to speak for itself.
Yeah.
Type of situation. That good food, you don't want to complicate it too much, because then,
That's right.
because if you're using good ingredients, you want to taste your ingredients. So if you mess with it too much, it's just going to mask those flavors.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Yep.
Usually find simpler the food, the better.
Yeah.
And there we go, and then we can begin to assemble them. Take our... Some people like to assemble their burgers by putting all the toppings on the bottom. But if you're not going to serve them right away, your lettuce will get all soggy and wilted, so I like to kind of keep it on top. And then lettuce. You want to chop your lettuce up a little bit. Same thing with the tomatoes. If it's too thick, you're just going to pull it all out at once. Then on there like that. Another lettuce.
Man, that's a classic burger right there.
And then we have some bacon here too. If you wanted to add bacon to your burger, everyone likes bacon usually. And then you kind of where you put your bacon's up to you. I don't like to put it down under everything, because then it kind of gets soggy.
Yeah, exactly.
You put it on top, it stays crispy.
That's right.
So,
look at that.
And there we go.
Wow.
Put these up. And if you want, you can put a little toothpick or a steak knife in there.
That's
to
right.
Hold
Perfect
everything
for your
together.
guests, man. Sweet. Hey, thanks for checking out this video. If you want more, check us out at OU Dining at Facebook and all social media plugs. And so, for Jeff?
Yeah, if you can check us out at jackios.com. We're also on Facebook. And if you want to come and try the real product, come down to Jackie O's on Union Street.
Thanks,
Thank you.